Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we've got DRYTRON support. This is actually huge, not even just because of what DRYTRON gets here, because I've not read any of the cards. I'm going in blind just like you guys. And then I'm also going to talk about a video that I made like a couple days ago that is already coming to fruition. 2 out of the 4 archetypes we already talked about. So let's get into it. Let's talk about what DRYTRON's cooking with here. This is an archetype that was the best deck in the game for a little bit, ended up getting hit on the ban list at one point, hitting a good amount of the cards, and now they are back giving them more support, so we'll see how they go. The first monster here is a brand new main deck monster to go in conjunction with all the other main deck monsters they have. They recently got that, like, not recently, but like a couple core sets ago, got that like level 6 monster, I think, and that, or maybe he's level 7 extender guy. He's interesting, but he didn't seem to have like great synergy with the archetype. I don't know. Anyway, this is DRYTRON New 2. Like the name, it's cool. It's obviously a level 1 light machine, special summon effect monster, 2000 attack, 0 defense. Just like the rest of them, I believe, or something like that. They're all close to that. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned to buy a card effect. You can only use the first and second effects once per turn each. You cannot ritual summon monsters the turn you activate either of this card's effects except for machines. Interesting. Okay. First effect, if there is a DRYTRON card on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand or grave, but banish it when it leaves the field. Okay, this is a different extender than I believe how the other ones work. I don't even remember that much. I'd have to refresh myself later on how DRYTRON fully functions, but that's a pretty good extender, hand or grave. So if you're using this for the rank 1 or a rank 1 in general, it's getting back to grave every time. That's pretty solid. Second effect, if this card is special summoned, you can add a DRYTRON monster from your deck to your hand. So it's just a Stratos that is also a really good extender. This just makes the engine stronger, just straight up. This is a card, I'd imagine this is a 3 of in the deck. I don't think locking you out of non-machine rituals is going to be enough of a hindrance to deter you from playing this card. The deck was never even known for like ritual summoning that often anyway. So yeah, not that big of a deal. The deck normally didn't even really ritual summon a lot of the time. It would just go into the extra deck. All right, next up, obviously we have a new boss monster. This is DRYTRON Mionis Alpha Draconids. Okay. This is the guy that we saw from the main art above. Obviously he's big, he's blue, he's gold. Cool. He's obviously a level 12 light machine. 5k. I think that actually is a little bit of an issue in that, from what I remember, the in-archetype ritual spell actually uses monsters, like tributes materials for a ritual summon, and then it bases the monster you can summon off of the attack that you tributed. So since most of the main deck monsters are 2000 attack, tributing them means you would have to tribute 3 now, I think, to summon this guy, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I remember, that like the other boss monsters had 4000 attack, so summoning them was easier because it took any 2 DRYTRONs, but now it might take 3. That's just something to keep an eye on. Okay, his actual effects, you can only you can ritual summon this with Mionis DRYTRON. I believe that's the ritual spell. Other DRYTRON monsters you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Okay, whatever. Up to twice per turn. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can banish DRYTRON monsters from your graveyard whose total attack equal or exceed that monster's original attack. Negate the activation if you destroy that monster. Okay, so along the basis of like theoretically we're putting at least 3 DRYTRONs in grave turn 1 just to even make this guy probably. And then we are... So any 2 of them would at least probably handle one of these negates, if not more. It doesn't even need to negate a monster on field. It's even in hand, so I guess you can still check the stats of a monster activating in hand or grave or whatever. Interesting. So it negates and destroys. It's a double monster gate. Like I said, this is twice per turn, which also means this card beats Nib as well. You would need to have 2 DRYTRONs in grave. Keep that in mind to make this live to negate Nib, but that's good. I think Nib is kind of annoying for this deck sometimes. It's a combo deck. Not bad. I mean, we've talked about this before. Sometimes the deck was a little bit annoying that like it was a ritual archetype that didn't even do ritual stuff because their ritual monsters just plainly usually weren't strong enough to actually try and make. But now we actually have something that's maybe significant enough where like if the lines are there to make this card easy enough, maybe he is a one of in the deck. We'll see. In the last effect, if this ritual summon card is destroyed by your opponent, you can special summon one ritual monster with 4,000 attack from your hand or deck. This is treated as a ritual summon. I think competitively, this effect probably won't work too much because like you're summoning one of the other two rituals for the archetype. But again, I think if this guy, if players decide they like this card, I doubt they're going to try and want to find the room for another brick in the form of another big DRYTRON ritual. So my guess is this float effect would not be live in most competitive builds because players probably won't want to have to play the bricks. But that's fine. The main effect is obviously the second effect. I mean, we're just talking about a double monster negate. That's pretty good. We talk about how the DDD Caesar guy, he's a double negate. Like double interruptions on cards are pretty powerful for single board pieces. But the deck would still have to set up more than this. So if you can only set this up, it's not nearly enough. The deck would have to be able to get to more. And the last card here is a trap card, which is strange because like the deck historically has never really wanted to play its own trap cards because the ender was just too good. It's a combo deck. Do you really want to play trap cards? We'll see. Okay, first and second effects of this card can only be used once per turn each. It is a continuous trap, so it does stay on field. Keep that in mind. The first effect reads, if a DRYTRON card or cards becomes banished, tribute a DRYTRON monster, then target up to 2 of your banished DRYTRON cards and add them to your hand. That's weird. I don't know how easily the deck... I mean, like, obviously you have stuff like this guy where once he's used, he banishes himself by default, right? So you already have cards like that, but this is a trap. So this is like, you're definitely not setting this up turn 1, so then it'd have to be a grind card. All right, what's the other thing? You can reveal this card, you can reveal one Mionis DRYTRON in hand, so that's the ritual spell, I believe. Ritual summon a machine ritual monster from your hand or grave by tributing machine monsters from hand or field, whose total attack equal or exceed that monster's. Okay, so this is just a quick ritual. I hate that you have to have exactly Mionis DRYTRON in hand, because it like just still forces you to play it. Will summon a machine ritual monster from your hand or grave by tributing monsters. So you still have to tribute from hand and field, but you can summon from grave, which is kind of nice, not gonna lie. This one's weird. I mean, this one is definitely one where I would have to double check on like exactly how the archetype works and how easy this first effect works, because like I don't like that you still have to tribute a DRYTRON on field, so you still have to give up a body on field, but I mean, getting 2 cards back from banish is no joke, so I'm not going to completely ignore that. And then this effect basically just getting you a quick ritual, but it doesn't save you that much in terms of how much you have to get rid of. Because again, if you're summoning that 5k guy, you probably have to tribute 3 monsters to get him back, and that's kind of iffy. I don't know. But yeah, interesting cards for sure. I think the banger absolute nutty card is DRYTRON New 2. I think more than anything, the engine needed updates, not necessarily new win conditions. It's one of those decks that it's going to be able to find ways to get into win conditions because it's just good at spamming the board. To me, these 2 cards are suspect. I'd need actual people who played DRYTRON or have continued to play DRYTRON to tell me exactly how much these 2 cards can do to help the engine. And I'd honestly be curious on exactly how far this card can take the engine as well. But very cool. 3 new cards. I mean, listen, DRYTRON is fine. I used to hate it back in the day, but I think it's fair enough now, especially with like Bistrels and stuff in circulation. They can absolutely throw DRYTRON back into the competitive mix because we have all of the checks and balances we need to handle them at this point. So cool enough. The last thing I want to mention here is this, okay? A couple days ago, I made a video talking about how in the OCG, they announced that they were basically reprinting 4 random decks, like cores, in one of their like giant reprint sets. Everything else in that set is like all anime cards. Like you can't focus too much on that because they're just always reprinting anime cards just because they sell. But these archetypes were different, right? The first one was Madolche. The second one was Musketeer, which I know Magical Musketeers didn't get direct support, but we just got the Fiendsmiths revealed last night. That's a new archetype that has very specific synergy with like muskets and fableds as like the two main archetypes that have synergy with it. That's basically musketeer support. I also would not be surprised if muskets themselves get like 1 or 2 cards in this set as well. I'm really pulling for that. I still really want to see an actual like spell card starter for them. That would be so good. The third archetype, Thunder Dragon. Okay, still waiting on that. Nothing really to show for there. And then DRYTRON. So basically, if Fiendsmiths basically count as indirect magical musket support, DRYTRON and muskets are already hit. And this was revealed like 4 days ago, 3 days ago. And so now I'm really thinking Thunder Dragons and Madolche have support coming soon. So just keep an eye out for that. If you are a big fan of these archetypes, this is a really good sign. I'm not going to promise anything, but I'm just saying I'm in the same boat that I'm like, cool. These archetypes should be getting support if this trend keeps up. So I just want to throw that out at you. If you didn't pay attention to that, that is definitely something to keep an eye on. But yeah, overall, guys, let me know your thoughts down below on the DRYTRON cards. How much did this help DRYTRON? Does it actually get them to the next level? Are they actually back as a competitive deck? Even if it's just like a high tier rogue deck, I feel like it's been like a kind of out there rogue deck for a while. So let me know if they're back. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, but I'm out of here for today. I'll bring you anything news wise going forward, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.